Well, we begin this news hour in the United States, where a federal judge has just dismissed the criminal case against Donald Trump on charges of mishandling top-secret documents. The judge ruled that the appointment of Special Counsel Jack Smith in this case was improper. It's a legal victory for the Republican frontrunner just days after he faced an assassination attempt. Trump was accused of endangering national security for keeping these files at his home after he left the White House. Well, Trump has now arrived in the battleground state of Wisconsin for the 4-day Republican National Convention. That gets underway in the next couple of hours. There, he's due to officially accept the Republican nomination and name his running mate. Well, let's go straight to Milwaukee in Wisconsin and speak to Patty Culhane, who's there for us. Patty, I see Florida Judge Aileen Cannon threw out that documents case, not on its merits, but because she disagreed specifically with the way that Jack Smith was appointed?
I think most legal analysts will say this is a completely surprising verdict. Since Watergate, judges after judges, courts after courts have said that special counsels, special prosecutors, special counsels can be named by the Justice Department, by the Attorney General. But this is what the Trump lawyers have been arguing for. And this Judge Aileen Cannon, she was appointed by Donald Trump, and she has been accused of really slow rolling this entire case. Let's not forget what this is about. This is 40 counts of Trump violating the Espionage Act, making false statements, obstruction of justice, conspiracy to obstruct justice. The most serious one of those charges could have landed him in prison for 20 years. So now she's come out and said because Jack Smith, the special prosecutor, was not appointed by the president or confirmed by the Senate, that it goes against the appointments clause in the Constitution. Now, again, this goes against decades of legal precedent. So Jack Smith will likely appeal this decision. And when he does appeal it, he can then ask for this judge to be removed. Many legal analysts have been saying he needed to make that move sooner. And this case then could be appealed all the way up to the Supreme Court. It was already looking like it wasn't going to go to court before the presidential election. Now it seems almost certain that it will not.
Well, speaking of the election, what are we hearing from the Trump campaign today?
Well, we're hearing that the president is former President Donald Trump is in town. He arrived in Milwaukee yesterday. He put out a statement that he was going to delay because of that assassination attempt, but he wasn't going to let the attempted assassin dictate his schedule. We hear he's going to be somewhere around here today. Not exactly sure where. Schedule seems to be pretty much in flux, even though it's today. The convention officially starts, although as you can see behind me, there's not a lot of things happening. They're putting programmings on seats and testing sound systems still. The big events really happen tonight. But we do think that we are going to hear who Donald Trump picks as vice president. That's what everybody's talking about right now. Lots of speculation, but still not an actual name.
Well, Patty Culhane there at the Republican National Convention for us in Milwaukee. Thank you very much, Patty, for now. Let's now bring in Claire Finkelstein. She's a professor of law and philosophy at the University of Pennsylvania. Today, she's joining us from Philadelphia. Claire, can we break down for our viewers exactly what's happened here when it comes to the documents case? The judge made this decision on the procedural appointment of the special counsel, not on the charges against Trump, right?
That's correct. And this stems from the separate concurrence that was written by Justice Thomas in the immunity case, in which he said that he believed that the entire appointment of Jack Smith was unconstitutional under the Appointments Clause. Now, that was not a view that was shared by any of the other justices, we need to be clear. So here she took a very fringe view, a view that conservatives have been touting for a long time, to say that the appointment of special counsel was unconstitutional in this case. One needs to be clear, however, that we did not hear Justice Thomas or conservatives in general objecting to the appointment of John Durham, who was special counsel to look into the origins of the Russia case, nor did we hear them objecting to the appointment of special counsel in the Hunter Biden matter. So suddenly this becomes a view that is being used to eliminate special counsel in the case of Donald Trump. It's not a view, of course, shared by the other judges who have been presiding over the other case, the January 6th case, that is being addressed, except for Justice Thomas. This will now go up to the 11th Circuit, presumably, and I have full confidence that the 11th Circuit will restore the case and these charges, but the question will be on remand whether it goes back to Judge Aileen Cannon or whether it goes to a different judge.
Claire, just to explain for our viewers, what exactly is Judge Cannon saying was wrong about how Special Counsel Jack Smith was appointed? I understand this was a process that's been followed for nearly 30 years.
That's right. And let's remember that there were two special counsels appointed in the case of Nixon. And that was found to be constitutional by the Supreme Court many years ago. Of course, it goes for Democratic presidents as well, because now this was under a special counsel law, but President Clinton was investigated by special counsel. But what the judge is saying here, following up on that Thomas concurrence, is that under the Appointments Clause of the U.S. Constitution, there should have been Senate confirmation. And so that would suggest that there needed to be a statute such as existed during the Clinton years when Ken Starr was special counsel to appoint a special counsel. There have been arguments for years that the primary Supreme Court case, the Morrison case that upheld the special counsel appointment of special counsel as constitutional, in fact, was a wrongly decided case. But that is the status right now of the Supreme Court's jurisprudence on this. And so this decision actually is not supported by Supreme Court jurisprudence with respect to the appointment of special counsel.
And we'll certainly be seeing how this plays out over the coming weeks and months, and certainly how long this also takes to resolve. Claire Finkelstein there, Professor of Law and Philosophy at the University of Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for joining us on Al Jazeera again.
Thanks for having me.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.